Take the commandment that Jesus says to forgive those who wrong you. That one's hard. Honestly, that one's hard. I struggle with that one myself. I'm a lot better at it nowadays because I'm growing in my faith. But when I was a young, early 20s, a teenager, I didn't even know anything back when I was a teenager about what it meant to be a Christian and live by these rules, these liberating rules. But when I was an early 20-year-old, people who wronged you, it's like, man, you just want to hold a grudge. You don't want to forgive them. You don't want to let that go because it feels good. It feels really good to hold a grudge, does it not? It feels a lot better to hold a grudge than it does to forgive, right? Otherwise, people wouldn't do it. People do things because it feels good. Sinning feels good. And we would be naive and lying to ourselves to say otherwise, that sinning feels good. But Jesus says don't hold a grudge. Now, if you refuse to forgive somebody, it's going to feel good in the moment, like I said, to hold that grudge. It's going to feel good in that moment. But in the long run, disintegration happens. If you don't want to forgive somebody, then over time, you're not gonna see people who are similar to the person that hurt you the same way. If you're hurt by somebody and you don't let that go, it's gonna taint it's gonna completely alter your commitment apparatus. You're going to treat people differently. You're going to treat people worsely and harshly because it's disintegrating you on the inside. It's desensitizing you. It's changing you. The evil of that sin of not to forgive somebody is going to change you. It's going to make you into a more fallen creature. It's going to take its toll. Because it's our nature to forgive people. It is our nature to forgive people. God built us to forgive people. God himself forgives people. And our divine nature, our intended nature, that nature that wrestles with the sinful, fallen nature that we have, it wants to forgive because that's how we're supposed to operate. And the commandments of God are expressions of how we're supposed to live and supposed to operate. We're not supposed to commit adultery. We're not supposed to murder each other. We're not supposed to lie. We're not supposed to hurt our fathers and mothers. And when we do those things, we're operating against the divine nature that God has given us, his created nature, rather, I should say, that he's given to us. So it feels good in the moment because it's changing us when we hold a grudge. But it will disintegrate us. That's what slavery to sin looks like. That's the reality. That's the reality of unfreedom. Being free means you're gone from that. That there is a regulation from God that says don't hold a grudge, which is a restriction, which is taking away a freedom, an autonomous freedom of choice, but it gives you better freedom because it prevents the disintegration and the desensitization and the inclination to evil that would come otherwise.